Welcome to the Emotional Balance Sheet, the go-to podcast for parents with multiple kids, especially those with twins, triplets, or more, who are navigating the maze of modern family life and personal finance. Whether you're overwhelmed by education or retirement planning, parenting dilemmas, career transitions, or trying to define your purpose and plan, we're here to guide you with empathy, encouragement, and expertise. Hosted by Paul Fenner, founder of Tama Capital, a certified financial planner and parent to 4 kids, including a set of triplets, our podcast is your ally in the quest for financial peace of mind, proving that money matters, but family comes first. Subscribe now and join our community of empowered parents at tamacapital.com.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Clients of TAMA may retain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast.
What does comprehensive financial planning even mean? At Tama Capital, it means a family office where lifestyle planning such as retirement, college, portfolio management, tax prep, and planning all are under one umbrella. But it goes beyond numbers. We focus as much on the emotional side of financial planning as we do on the financial side. We get you. We understand your challenges of building a family, business, or career, and a healthy life. We are devoted to wealth planning for families like yours because we are you. Learn how our family can help your family by visiting tamacapital.com.
So when you meet somebody, typically one of the first questions is, how are you doing? And if you're like most people, the typical response is, man, I am so busy. And I don't care if you're a parent, a single individual, divorced. I don't think it really matters. I think that answer is pretty standard. And as somebody that has a set of 13-year-old triplets and 11-year-old, when I tell people that, I get that response, man, you must be so darn busy. And my answer is, well, yeah, it's the stage of life that I'm in. But I also work with enough families that are in similar situations. They may not have triplets. Maybe they have twins or they have 3 kids. And I used to give that standard response as well. Like, I'm so busy. And then I stopped. I think I stopped probably a couple years ago. And the reason why I stopped was life is always going to be busy. There's always going to be something. And what I really want to do is give people an honest answer. And if I'm busy, then I say, well, my kids are in 3 different activities right now. And there's nights where 2 of them have to be in the same spot at once. And it's just me because my wife's traveling. And, that's the nature of raising triplets plus 1 or raising any kids. I think single parents have it just as hard as couples do, maybe even harder because it's just one of them. But there's a gentleman that I follow. His name is Paul Graham. And he is an investor and has worked with thousands of startups. And he's published a series of essays, and he usually writes a couple every year. And there's one that I found in particular that I reread multiple times a year. And I'll put a link in the show notes to it, but it's called How to Lose Time and Money. And the takeaway that I've got from Paul Graham's essay is this. I'm going to read this verbatim. The most dangerous way to lose time is not to spend it having fun, but to spend it doing fake work. The most dangerous way to lose time is not to spend it having fun, but to spend it doing fake work. And I think the message behind this is that whether it's in your career, personal life, we can create work. There's time, and we feel like we have to fill that void of time. And I am probably one of the worst people at this. Like, I have a hard time sitting down and doing absolutely nothing. Even, when I'm watching a sporting event, I'm a big sports fan, especially the Boston teams. And right now we're in hockey season. And so when I sit down and watch a hockey game, sometimes my girls will sit down and watch one with me. Like, I'll still have my laptop. I'll still have my notes in front of me. So I'm watching the game, but then I'm still doing something else. And it's really hard to slow down, if you will. But how much are we really getting done? And working with the amount of families that I do at TAMA, I know I'm not the only one that struggles with this. And especially with people that are in high level roles, executive management, corporate level roles, manager level roles, there's this need to keep doing work. And quite a few people that I speak with that are having trouble with their career or wanting to do something different, I emphasize to them the biggest gift that you can give yourself is the gift of time. And that gift of time is letting you get away and just think about what it is that you really want to do. Because if not, you're going to get caught up in this busy work, this potential fake work, if you will. And I think this has a really a tie with money as well. And Paul Graham goes on to say in his essay that with time, as with money, avoiding pleasure is no longer enough to protect you. It was probably enough to protect hunters and gatherers, and perhaps all pre-industrial societies. So nature and nurture combine to make us avoid self-indulgence. But the world has gotten more complicated. The most dangerous traps now are new behaviors that bypass our alarms about self-indulgence by mimicking more virtuous types. And the worst thing is, they're not even fun. And I think that last part I've really wrestled with this last year. One of my girls, actually both my girls, but one in particular is into competitive swim. And it's not unusual for us to be at a swim meet on a Friday night, a Saturday, and a Sunday, a whole weekend. And I used to go to these things almost dreading them. Like, man, I'm going to miss out on, getting this project done or this work done, rather than really enjoying the moment of being there. And something I basically flipped a switch last year, early in our season, where I stopped doing that. I thought about, she's only this age once. And parents, you know this just as well as I do, that these times go by so fast. And eventually we're going to get to the point where we wish we had these days back, where we weren't as consumed with our work. And it gets back to this whole spending time doing fake work. Like, how much work am I really getting done when I'm watching a hockey game with my girls and having the laptop on my lap? And so getting back to my girls' swim meets, I now look at them 180 degree different, meaning I look forward to them. Do I know I'm going to be sore after sitting in a pool for 3 days? Sure, I am. But the conversations that we have going to the meets, the conversations we have coming home from the meets, those are priceless. I wouldn't change those for the world. And I think being able to shift your mindset, which is something that I've been talking about on the podcast ever since it started over 4 years ago now, is that ability to change your mindset and what it can do from you, both physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if you will. There's nothing like it. And it gets back to one of the things I mentioned is like sometimes you have to take the foot off the pedal. And I'm talking about this like I'm preaching to the choir, but I need to take my own advice. I need to take my own medicine. And it's small steps. And there's days where I do it really well, and there's days where I don't do it so well. And on those days, I try not to give myself too many lashings because I'm going to have good days, I'm going to have bad days. But I always go back and think about these car rides with my girls to their swim meets and how that's the most time I get to spend with most of them, and how I really try to enjoy that, find out what's going on with their lives, and put the work away, put the busyness away, and enjoy this time of life that they're in, this stage, because you only get this stage once, then there's going to be another stage, and there'll be another stage after that. And while, with any given stage, there's things that are easier, some things are harder, the pace of it never changes. It comes. It just every day is a new day that you're not going to want to miss. And so I thought it was poignant, again, when I read this Paul Graham essay on how to lose time and money, and to look at it at a way of how dangerous it is to not have it spending fun, but instead of spending it doing fake work instead. That's all I've got for this week. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Emotional Balance Sheet Podcast. Please visit tamacapital.com to follow the podcast and connect with certified financial planner and registered investment advisor Paul Fenner of tamacapital.com. And please join us again next time on the Emotional Balance Sheet Podcast.